Good morning. We have a day off the bike today. We don't have to ride today, and that makes me extremely happy. The thing is though, I still have a life. So I have so much else to do. Today is not a day off, it's just a day where I don't have to dig myself into a hole on the bike. I also have a lot of day work for just websites that I need to move forward in some sort of fashion. So I've got like probably 6 to 7 hours of legitimate work today. But there's another thing. I want to tell you the story of my athletic career, because I'm not an athlete, bro. I'm not supposed to be fit. So after we work here a little bit, I want to tell you my whole entire athletic story of riding motocross when I was a kid, to the 7 years I invested in Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I taught kids and adults and almost bought a gym actually, to how I found cycling and how cycling has evolved and how it's basically completely consumed my life. So that's going to be the story for today because there's no riding. Probably tomorrow we'll talk to my wife a little bit about her experience, and then this week we'll go over my stretching and strength program, and then one of these days we'll go through my whole nutritional program. I'm really afraid to talk about nutrition though. No matter what you do, as soon as you lay out your nutritional program, there's going to be people saying, you're going to die, you're stupid, you're the worst. If you just ate bacon, you'd win the Tour de France. And to be honest, my nutritional program has gotten really aggressive and is probably not what people should do at all. The fact that I almost never eat is insanity, and I'm really hesitant to talk about my intermittent fasting because I don't want someone to destroy their health off of it. So I really got to think about how I'm going to talk about that and phrase it and give context to just how long I've been actually crafting my nutritional program over like 10 years. So it's not, I just woke up one day and didn't eat all day and rode 7 hours. You know what I mean? It didn't happen like that. And so I got to really be careful of how I convey that message. Anyways, dude, let me work. Let me tell you the story about my athletic career. Basic FedEx is always going to be more expensive. You'll always pay less than what they pay. At least, you know, you can get the site up with this for now.
Right, I think we're just trying to do it to get the site up to cover ourselves for the time being. Then we can start evaluating what's shipping, what's our cost, and we can modify this for 30 or 60 days, like you said.
Okay, so here's my story on my athletic career. Basically, I am 8 years old and I get a motorcycle from my grandma and my mom. Very old motorcycle. It's not like this spoiled kid getting his brand. It was super old. I got like hand-me-down gear from an adult, but it didn't matter, bro. I was 8 and I had a motorcycle. I was the coolest kid on the planet. My grandma would take me riding every weekend. We started going to the motorcycle track. It was one of the greatest moments and times in my life when I think back, like with my grandma, those times of just going to the track and riding. It's just my grandma telling me I'm the greatest thing ever, right? No matter what I do, how fast I go, how high I jump, how dumb I look, I'm the best. So from about 8 to 12, 13-ish, I was riding motorcycles every weekend, racing, but it started to get really expensive. I wasn't good enough to really justify taking that any further. So around 12, I started riding bicycles, BMX. I lived behind this big dirt field with all these jumps. We'd build jumps nonstop. Me and the boys out there with shovels. I loved it. And BMX was less expensive and I could just go and ride pretty much whenever. I could do Tuesdays and Thursdays at the BMX track. Never really anything special, you know what I mean? If I lined up on the gate, I was just a mid-pack jack always. But when I turned 16 and I got my car, that was it, man. Bikes were no longer a thing. I never even thought about them. It was just about chasing tail and just being a 16-year-old punk, dude, with a car. So then from 16 to 18, bikes were not even a thing. I never even thought about them at all. When I started selling cars, I was able to get a really good deal on a Gixxer 750. So that's like a street bike. The fact that they would give over the keys to an 18-year-old, this rocket that goes 180 miles an hour is insane. There was one time I was on the freeway going 150 miles an hour. 150 miles an hour, bro. I'm not exaggerating. And I hit the little like pot dots and I got speed wobble on the freeway at 150 miles an hour. I was like, I'm dead. I'm gonna die. But I didn't. I don't know how I didn't. So I was riding street bikes a lot, super dangerous, always being dangerous on the road, splitting cars, doing wheelies. It's terrible. And then when I was owning the motorcycle shop, I got an invite out to Thunderhill Raceway to do a track day. Got out on the track and just fell in love with street bike racing. It was so amazing. Hyper expensive. So at the time, it's probably why my business went under, is that I was spending so much money on tires and a track day, like one track day is like $150, let alone the tires. So then I started racing. Bro, a weekend of racing would be like $1,000, like gas, tires, entry fee. One weekend, $1,000. So I know that like cycling seems expensive. Bro, street bikes on another level. Towards the end of that, where I went out of business and I lost all of my bikes, I didn't have any, couldn't do anything. And I had a buddy who did jiu-jitsu, and he was like, I think you would like jiu-jitsu. You should come and check it out. So I went and I started my first class at Brazilian jiu-jitsu, not knowing anything about, I am not a wrestler. I have never done combative sports like this whatsoever. But my body was just perfect for jiu-jitsu. I'm long and I'm flexible. There was just something about jiu-jitsu that I just flowed with. Like I connected with the idea of jiu-jitsu very quickly. And I fell head over heels in love with jiu-jitsu. Also, I was losing everything, so it was like the only thing I had. So I was going like 6 days a week. I was training all the time. Got my blue belt from Hoist Gracie. That was the gym I was under, as Hoist Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And then I just really took off. Like I was doing tournaments and training all the time. And then I started teaching kids and adults. I was traveling for seminars a ton. I actually had a lot of success in jiu-jitsu. I won several tournaments as a blue belt. I won Grappler's Quest, which was probably one of the biggest tournaments I had won. There was an in-house tournament that I did where I did no gi and gi. Bro, I cleaned house. I think I went 12 matches in a row winning. And it's kind of a crazy story, which I don't have footage of it, and I'm super bummed that I don't. So it's kind of like it was called the smokers. So you're in a cage, an MMA cage. They're striking to the body, but not to the face. It's basically an MMA match in a cage, but you just can't punch in the face. And I'm on top of my game, dude. I'm rolling through fools. So I'm like a high level blue belt, almost to purple, and he is off the street, just like a brawler. And so we slap hands. I hit a standing Kimura, which was my go-to move to do a takedown, and he didn't roll, and I broke his arm off. Dude, I still have this haunting dream of his bones snapping in my, like, ka! If you've ever heard of bone break, bro, it's like a shotgun, and it was in my hand. Like, I feel all this pressure, and then I broke his arm because he didn't tap, 2, he didn't roll. You know, you just train to go hard until the tap. And then I broke his arm and I was like freaking out. It was like, I almost vomited. It was really disgusting, dude. And so then I'm just like, I'm in the cage now with this dude whose arm's like twisted behind his back. It's terrible. I ended up getting my purple belt under Rodrigo, but because I was training 6 days a week, I would go in and I would teach peewees, and then I would teach kids, and then I would teach adults, and then I would run my class. So I was almost like a full-time job. And to back up just a little bit, is to get prepared for that jiu-jitsu match, I got a bicycle from my grandpa, a busted bicycle, dude. Not cool at all, but that was what I was trying to lose weight, so I was thinking I could go ride. I rode 1 mile on this thing on a little bike path and just I loved it, dude. I was like, wow, I can't believe I rode 1 mile, man. I'm so stoked. So I rode that bike a little bit, you know, and then after I burnt out from jiu-jitsu, I loved cycling so much, or at least this, you know, hybrid bike, that I ended up going and buying my first road bike. But dude, this is when I was broke, had no money. And so I grab all the cash I have, which is like $700. And I'm just, dude, I think I literally have a fistful of cash. Like I am so rich. And I go into the bike shop and I'm just like, give me the best thing you got. $700. And they're like, dude, we don't have anything for $700. They were like, the cheapest bike here is $1,200. And I was just blew my mind. I was like, how can that be possible? How can $700 not buy me a bicycle? So then I had to go back to my wife and be like, hey, I need more money. I don't know what we're gonna do. And she stood by me as I basically bankrupted us to get my first road bike. It was a Jameis Venture, aluminum frame with carbon forks. And man, I loved that thing. I started going out and riding with these older gentlemen, like over the hill gang guys. And you know, I'm thinking, bro, I'm a young buck. I'm like 25. I'm gonna murder these dudes. They're gonna have a heart attack. And then I get dropped instantly. And now when you get dropped on a road bike, one of two things is gonna happen. One, you're so embarrassed and you hate that feeling and you're never gonna return. And that's it. Then you go and you start doing just casual rides and you get in with the group that just is going to do zone 1 to a coffee shop, and it's not aggressive whatsoever. And I'm not talking smack on that. I'm just saying some people, the competitive side is not for them. For me, it was very much the opposite. I got dropped and I said, I will never let that happen again. I'm gonna murder this old dude. So then I go back out the next weekend and the next weekend and the next week. But so I wasn't riding very much. I got my first bike in 2010 and I just ride like once or twice a week, but I was so hooked. And so I would ride with these old guys, and then, you know, I would get dropped, but then I would maybe be with the second group, and then I would be at the front group, and then I was like battling, you know, to get over the top of this hill with a dude who's like 70. But it doesn't matter because I am having so much fun. I just loved riding bikes. I actually ended up doing my first race very shortly after getting that bike. I thought, well, bro, it's a beginner's race, and so, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna crush this thing. I'll probably get like third. I didn't realize, dude, Cat 5 is still 28 mile an hour average. And so I got blown out instantly. I got pulled from the course like 2 laps in. My grandpa was there to like watch me and cheer me on, and I didn't even finish at all. At the time, there was a really big community in this area, so the group rides were just baller, dude. There was all these race rides, and I just constantly was riding with guys, and I would just get dropped over and over and just get smashed, and my teeth kicked in, and constantly losing, and that just always made me want to come back for more. I loved it, dude. I loved getting my face kicked in. There was a group ride called the World Champs. It was every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'd go out there, and you'd get dropped in the first 5 minutes, and then next time you'd get dropped in 10 minutes, and then you'd make it to the bridge, then you'd make it to the turnaround, and then, you know, now you're like with the front group, and now you're racing for the win of this thing. Then I started taking it a little more seriously, and then I got on a team, and then I started racing a little more, and then I got on a better team, and then I was doing these morning rides that had like points, and then I created a social networking site for cyclists, which is like a whole story I will talk about later. I was just riding all the time and just loving it. One of my best memories of a team was when myself, Tony Wolf, my coach, Chaz, and Nick, right? Or no, Ryan. We had such a huge squad, and in a circuit race, we went 1, 2, 3, 4. But then there was so much success around this team that basically they all got picked up by other teams. Chaz went to Specialized, Tony went to Cortex, and I was just kind of left, you know, to eat dick salad. So anyway, Michael David came and they actually picked me up, and they supported me with free races and free kits for about 3 years. Yeah, towards the end of 2018, you can go back and watch the whole Making of a Team series, but I was trying to put together a squad. I was talking to the Spirulina company. They put out a budget. We put a lot of work into it, dude, and it was a shit show. The SP2 Life team, we did amazing, actually. We won the best all-around rider, best all-around team, and the Cal Cup. So, I mean, what more could you really ask for? That was in 2019. But the team chemistry and how I ran the team personally was a disaster. Plus, the title sponsor, you know, when they said that they actually gave out a budget of 25 grand is what they were going to put out. I think in total, they only did about $4,000. It really put me in a huge issue, and I put out a lot of money in my own pocket to make that team even work. And so it was a real bummer because of how many people got mad at me for the team when no one else lost money. Everyone else got free kits and free races. So like, I'm an asshole because I spent $5 grand of my own money. Come on, dude. So then that kind of brings us to this year's that we developed a whole new team, Ride Bikes Bro, as I is going to be the title sponsor of Ride Bikes Bro, so that I knew that it was going to be around for a while because you have to have some kind of consistency of the team. Put a lot of work into it, got a really solid squad, went out and had a ton of success, won like everything we entered, and then COVID. 2020 obviously hasn't been the year of racing for sure. Team-wise, we're moving into 2021 with a solid budget, with a solid crew, and everyone's fitness is just insane. Now, success-wise in cycling, the only success I've really had comes in the way of really ultra long distance events. So the Climb to Kaiser, I did a documentary on that. I won that 155 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing. I felt like I had a lot of success at Belgian Waffle, both San Diego and Utah. The Garden State Fondo, I had a lot of success there. I've had a lot of success in Fondos, period. Now again, how many people are really going for it? You know what I mean? When you go up to the line and there's like 7 guys trying to race versus when you go to a proper road race and there's 100 guys trying to race. Maybe that success is just comes down to that there's less competition in those type of events. Anyways, dude, what a long story, and I apologize for that. Again, today is a super recovery day. I'm not gonna touch the bike at all, but also do need to hang out with the family a little bit.
Just a little bit more, and that's good, okay? These are called chanterelles.
What?
Chanterelles mushrooms.
I don't like this.
You be careful. Did you touch it?
No.
Okay.
This is Benny. He's our dog. Okay, so I'm exhausted, man. I really should have done more with like strength and stretching, but to be honest, I was just brain dead, dude. I just sat there and stared at my computer. You ever like have work? I'm just staring at my computer, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just staring at it, hoping work will be done, but I have to do the work, and it doesn't get done. I hope you enjoyed this story about my cycling and athletic career. I know this was kind of a bit of a mail-in video. Tomorrow we're back on the program. I've got a whole nother week of this to go. I really don't want to sharpen the knife too much and have it break off, so you know, we gotta not raise our FTP too much. We can't get too strong this month, because then I'm just gonna be Mr. January and blow up. So guys, I appreciate it. As always, Vegan Cyclist. Yeah.
Oh, Winnie messed me up. I went like this. I went like this.
What is this?